It looks like Star Trek 4 may be harder to locate than a cloaked Romulan ship. Marvel's new Blade movie loses its release date and its director, but no one noticed because Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman just broke the internet. That's right, Nominators. It's Thursday, and we are back for as long as the internet will have us on. I'm your host, the Geek Boy. Joining me tonight is the overlord of the operating system, the Reverend IT Geek, is at the producing board. Goldar, the gamer with the golden throat, is on assignment this week, but fear not. The commander of the 918 Northern Command Post, Mr. Narwhal, is in the house as we kick off another episode of this fantastic week. How we doing out there, guys?
Well, we have audio, so things are looking good. We were doing there, but I clicked a little too early on that. I got excited that everything was working, pretty much flawlessly. So, and I jacked it up. So, but hey, we're broadcasting. We got audio.
We have audio, and we have viewers. I mean,
we have viewers, and no one said like, "Hey, we can't hear you yet." And
yeah.
So, we're already ahead of the game at this point.
That's right.
So
correct. By the way, I do want to. The folks that are in the chat, looks like Sprout's here with us. The B5 Babe is here. Sprout wants us to talk about Primal, and I have yet to watch that. I hear it's amazing.
I have not seen it yet. I have not seen it. John Burke's actually in the chat as well.
What up, John Burke?
So I don't know if you saw him. So yeah.
Well, and B5 Babe wants to know she's here for Babylon 5. Wants to know if she's too early. If we're working, we might as well show the episode now because I'm terrified it may not work.
I know. You said let's jump into this so dang quick so that way we don't possibly lose it. So I'm like, let's go. Let's click. See if the soundboard's kicking in. It sounds like it maybe.
Man, we got everything working tonight. Narwhal, how you doing up there?
Me and my new sidekick are doing pretty good. I picked up this little bad boy just today.
What's that say on there, Mr. Narwhal?
Well, this says it's a Silver Telly Award for the Long Live Retirement Olympic Anthem commercial that I did recently for Allianz Live.
Look at you.
Nice little piece of hardware here.
Oh my gosh!
I would imagine. See, people, we're legit. We've got an actual celebrity,
an award-winning producer as part of our team.
Right. Exactly.
That's right.
And you can actually find him on IMDb.
Yes, that's right. Correct.
Look him up.
Hey, Lori Vanpool. Lori Vanpool must have power back.
Yes.
Power of prayer. Yeah.
Oh, actually, she says no power. Thanks, Ian, but I'm here.
Oh, okay.
She's like, she's watching some Fanboys tonight. Power or no power, she's in it to win.
Right.
That's right, people.
That's right.
So let's
holy cow, you the man, Narwhal, since B5 Babe.
That's right.
Wow, man, that's great. Now you watch every broadcast from now on. That thing's going to be conspicuously in the shot.
It needs to be. It needs to be.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm just it needs have to. Right here, it's going to be like a parrot.
Exactly. Exactly.
Award winning. That's right. Anytime y'all go, well, I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm going to go, well,
Exactly.
Oh man, that is so awesome. I am so proud of you.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Wow. All joking aside, man, great job. I don't know, but a lot of people, if you've not, you may not have been know that you were watching the commercial, but it's out there. The name of the company is Alliance. Am I saying it right?
Allianz Life.
There you go. Yes, so, and then you can actually go to IMDb. You actually see it. So, do they just look it up by your name there? I know not Narwhal, but I don't know how you.
It's not Narwhal. It is under my official working name, H. Dwayne Robinson.
That's his nom de plume, the name he travels under, folks.
That's right. Yes.
He just goes incognito on the air with us, who us low lives can stay around him and everything. So
he's like, I don't want y'all dropping my name or nothing.
Exactly. He's like, I can't be really known to be associated with y'all low lives like that and everything.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in tonight. We got a great we got a whole bunch of folks here.
Dude, we're up to 7 that I'm like, see, we go away for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
They just want it. They want it, and they keep coming. And they come back, and they're like, "Oh my God, everything's working. We need to tune in now. You never know what's going to happen again." So,
Sprout said he was off last week, and
all the boys to the yard.
Yes, sir.
Sprout said he was off last week and set aside all night to watch the stream, and we ruined it with technical difficulties, and he cried for 2 days.
But we cried for 3. I ain't gonna
lie.
Right.
Yeah, because it didn't end with Thursday.
It did not.
It did not.
That little gremlin was just jumping around from one command post to another. I mean,
ruined toxic masculinity night in the fan cave. It really did. I mean, well, it didn't ruin it too much because I still drank, but that's okay.
We all drank.
That's right. Who did we? Okay, so we've got the Pastor of Love is live. Yeah. Let's see here. Lori defies the odds of Hurricane Ian's path of destruction. That's from Sprout. And of course, she says, congratulations to Mr. Narwhal. And B5 Babe says, you demand Narwhal. And Sprout says, Dwayne got a major award. It's for Gile. It's Italian.
It is.
Oh, that's great.
And here's the thing. B5 Babe says we can play like Where's Waldo with the award. Like
there you go.
It's like, where is it now?
Yep.
Sprout says he was an extra in the movie, uncredited, of course. Nancy Picks and Chooses. Was that
is that a joke or I was sorry to say?
Well,
does your wife know about this role?
Yeah.
I mean,
we want to thank all you guys that have tuned in tonight, and we certainly hope you enjoy the show, especially since we're back after 2 weeks and everything seems to be working. If you like what you see, please leave a like and share this around all the interwebs and all the social medias. And also, if you have a good time tonight, please, if you are so inclined, jump over to our YouTube page and like and subscribe to it as well. Now, we are working on something that we're trying to do to kind of drive traffic toward the YouTube page. Mr. Narwhal, do you want to talk about it? Do you want me to talk about it? We were going to try to have something filmed and put together, but we don't quite have it yet. I'll tell you what, I'll bring it up. You tell them what it is. Okay. So we are trying to put something together that is only available on our YouTube channel. That is kind of a fan favorite thing that corresponds with the spooky season. And I'm going to put a little video together, hopefully this weekend, so we can promote it around on the page and everything. But Mr. Narwhal has got it. He's going to drop, I believe, tomorrow. And you want to share what that gem from 1984 is, Mr. Narwhal?
That is the documentary called Terror in the Aisles.
Yeah.
It is it's an awesome little documentary talking about horror films, slasher films, all sorts of stuff, and it's got great footage, great bits of information and stories from some of your favorite filmmakers out there. It is really an awesome little film that we've got.
Yeah. We were trying to actually air it on the page, and we were having some issues with that, but we decided, hey, this would be a great sort of, way to get people to head to the YouTube page and check it out and like and subscribe to it. So again, that's going to actually drop tomorrow, and we'll be promoting it all month. And I think after October 31st, it may disappear. I don't know. We may sunset. I'm not sure yet. So, jump over there and check it out while you can. Finally, as far as like liking and checking things out, I do want to remind everyone that Fanboys 918 has partnered with an over-the-top service, an OTT kind of like Roku or some of these other things, called Audacity TV. And they rolled out their app, I believe, in March of this year. And for the foreseeable future, maybe they like it, maybe they don't, they're going to be carrying our best segments of this program. Yes, folks, there are such things. At least that's what Mr. Narwhal assures me, because he's been putting them together. And hey, he's won a major award. He ought to know.
Exactly.
So don't ever doubt it.
We're actually going to have to get him another major award to give him for that, because that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Now, it's not probably going to be as prestigious and probably not as big as that one, but it may, we'll find you something
it'll be tinfoil.
Exactly. Exactly. So
I saw the Queen of the Geeks create a foil rose right before.
Oh, this is true. This is true.
So
this is true.
We got some skills.
We have a little bit of skills. We have a little bit of skills.
Now, so they're also carrying, apart from the best segments of this show, they're also carrying some of our other content. We've kind of sunsetted Fan Years and Flicks, but they are carrying segments of that over there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you know what, Mr. Narwhal, you have another piece of programming that you've kind of put together for us, and I don't think there's one dropping this week because you've been busy. But you want to talk about that?
Yeah, that's right. So, those of us with, major awards here tend to float around a lot of Hollywood hobnobbers and movie sets and props and stuff like that. So, I've got a new segment on the Facebook page called Fanboys Finds, and basically it highlight some of the various props and movie sets and locations that those of us here at Fanboys 918 have been fortunate enough to see and experience firsthand. For example, some of the things that we've featured in the past have been the Great Hall set from the Harry Potter movies. We've also featured. So what else did we feature?
The TARDIS. We had the TARDIS sets.
There's so many that I've got in my head that I'm getting ready to roll out. I can't remember which ones I've rolled out.
Well, you just rolled
out
out pictures of the Doctor Who sets.
That's right. That's
Christopher
right.
Eccleston,
Doctor Who. That's the one that we did most recently, and that was one that I saw in person when I was in Cardiff, Wales, touring the Doctor Who experience, and it's the console for the 9th and 10th Doctors.
Yes, that was Eccleston's and Tennant's, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, that Doctor Who experience is no longer there, correct?
It is no longer there. Apparently, it's something that sort of, they set up shop for a few years, and then they close it down, and then they move it somewhere else. So that way, a number of different areas in the UK can experience this setup. And considering that we're getting ready to hit the 60th anniversary of the show, I would be very surprised if it didn't come back.
Oh, absolutely. And they may bring a stateside version of it as well, I'm sure.
That would be awesome. That'd be absolutely awesome.
The only thing more awesome than that was if we get some good writing on the show. But that's another podcast for another day.
I feel you there.
I half expected the Reverend to boo me with the soundboard.
Sorry, a little work message came up and kind of distracted me.
Okay.
But you know what? It's never too late.
And in fact, I've pretty much decided that all of Fanboys Finds for the month of October will be horror themed.
Oh, good.
So we are going to be looking at some of the most iconic horror costumes and props throughout history. And
awesome.
Tune in and check that out only on our Facebook page.
All right. B5 babe, she needs to experience her some Doctor Who. Yeah, I'd like to experience Doctor Who too, but we haven't for the last 3 years. Boy, I'm really. Anyway,
a little bitter there.
A little bit. Man, I'll tell you what. All of my franchises are kind of letting me down right now, and boy, and it's not. And from the news items we have, it's not going to get much better. And I also want to say he's not here tonight, but I do want to talk about another piece of programming that Audacity is carrying. And that is would be Fanboys Nightcrawlers that Goldar does for us. He plays a video game. The segments are about anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, and he does commentary on it. He plays through a game anywhere from, I think, some number as little as like 20 episodes. Some of them go as high as almost like 50 or 60. And I believe he just finished Days Gone.
And I believe I think last weekend was the final, like episode 30 or 31. So I think that's all finished up and everything. But I also want to make sure you only said that it was on Audacity TV, but he's also loading it to our YouTube page.
Yes.
So make sure that you're following it in both locations. So
correct. Yeah, because the ones on the YouTube page, I just hadn't gotten there yet. That's okay. The ones on the YouTube page are the most current things that he's doing. The ones on Audacity are kind of an archived, or either older games and things like that. So
exactly.
Where we have.
We've got a lot of chatting going on.
A lot of chat
going on in the.
Ronald Brown is with us tonight.
Oh man!
Hell yeah!
All right,
great.
All right,
awesome.
all right. This is
that's great. Right. Now, Rev, on as far as the Fanboys Finds things, if I'm not mistaken, you just shot some stuff for that on your trip. That you want to talk about that a little bit? Or
we can talk a little bit about it. And now it'll be won't be so much the horror genre that Mr. Narwhal was speaking of, but we'll get that loaded up there as well. But The Queen and I had the opportunity to travel to Napa, California, where we visited Francis Ford Coppola's vineyard. And what's kind of cool about that is that not only is it a vineyard where you can dine and sample the wines and everything, but it's also kind of a small museum. And he has several, articles from his movies, such as the Tucker from The Man in His Dream. Great movie.
One of the most underrated Coppola films ever.
And I had actually, it wasn't until I walked in, I'm like, why is there a Tucker here? And I went, oh my God, I totally forgot he did that movie. So that was great to see. I believe that's one of the movies that you and I there, Mr. Geek Boy, snuck in to see one time when we were in high school. Not that we really snuck because you worked at the theater, but hey, we'll
it doesn't. It's not as fun, but yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I just don't want anyone to kind of roping us back into any other unduly deserved duties from sneaking into an establishment that technically was not. But
by the way, I noticed the Wonder Midget got off scot-free on that stuff.
Yes,
I don't know if she's watching. But...
sometimes sacrifices have to be made, and we were those sacrificial lambs.
We were.
So, we're glad that she made it out safe and secure, and and happy and everything like that. But a couple other things. Also had a couple of the battleships from Sofia Coppola's movie and Marie Antoinette with Kirsten Dunst in it, and then also had a couple of the costumes from Bram Stoker's Dracula was in there, and then he literally just had a cabinet, and I checked the lock. It's very secure. I was trying to get it, but had a lot of the Oscars and awards that he won for The Godfather and Godfather 2 and stuff. So yeah, it was a great time, great event, great. It's not a very big museum, but man, it's if you're a geek like us, I mean, it was a lot of fun. So we'll get those loaded up so everybody can kind of share in those Fanboys 918 finds. And we'll go from there.
All right. And by the way, Lori Alvarado's with us too.
Right. And Sprout, no, the horse head was not there in The Godfather. And if anyone's watched The Offer, we all know that wasn't supposedly a legit. That was a legit horse head. So
yeah, because the prop looked terrible. But
yes.
Anyway,
so
now, lastly, before we move on to our actual, programming stuff tonight, as many of you know, we've been doing a segment on Friday nights for quite a while now. It was actually inspired by Mr. Narwhal when he created a show called Firefly Friday, which, my God, that seems ages ago when you did that.
That was in the before times.
Yes, it was in the before times. So he created a show called Firefly Friday, which then morphed into Sci-Fi Friday, and that's when we did a truncated run of Space 1999. That was the Rev's favorite segment that we did. But unless you're new to our channel, you know that for the last year and a half, we've been doing something called I'm sorry, Rev. You want to say what it is?
Sci-Fi Friday.
That's right. And that's exactly what it sounds like.
This is why everybody tuned in just for that. All 8 of our viewers have tuned in to the chat, and they'll probably just plummet right after that.
And I probably blew it by
I know. They were about to like, this guy.
this guy.
This guy's such a rookie.
Get him off of here now. Anyway, so Friday evenings at 7 o'clock, we've been revisiting the classic 90s science fiction series Babylon 5, and tomorrow night is season finale night. And we are closing out season 3 like a school bus full of ADHD ferrets hurtling over a cliff. And what better way to do it than to get the War Council together one more time? Tomorrow night, technology and bandwidth permitting, we will be airing the 22nd episode of season 3 entitled Zahadum. The ramifications of Captain Sheridan's decision to take the Shadows on head-to-head reveal themselves when a mysterious lady from his past, which if you watched Shadow Dancing, you know who that mysterious lady is, arrives claiming to have the secret to what the Shadows are actually up to. What happens will finish laying all the groundwork for season 4, as well as shape the rest of the series. As always, we will be live in the chat, but we also hope to have a lot of special guests joining us as well. I think we're going to have every guest joining us. The only person that's not going to be here is Narwhal. Matter of fact, Ronnie Brown said this is a listen-only event because he's in the car. He better not be driving up here to get in the damn fan cave.
I think we've proven that if anyone wants to be part of this, all you got to do is send us an email. We'll send you the link and you can jump in.
Yeah, I'll send you a link. You can jump in, or we'll send an Uber to pick you up. Who knows?
Yep,
I mean,
yeah.
depends on
Lisa, the B5 just came out. Don't jinx it. Need to see season 3 finale. So
okay, well,
yep.
I'm afraid now for those who've been looking for Shadow Dancing, the one we did, we had some serious technical issues with that. We did get the episode posted and played. It took us 3.5 hours to air a 44-minute episode,
Yep.
But I did edit together all the footage, and I tried to post it earlier today, and the internet gods didn't like that. So I'm going to try one more thing once we get off the air. I hope Shadow Dancing doesn't end up being our lost episode. I mean, my God, I'm wondering if, like, does God even hate that episode? Because for whatever reason, like, nothing is working.
He's like, no. We've had enough of it. All right, move along.
Anyway, we'll be live in the chat. We'll have some special guests. We'll have a great after show here. We always have fun in the after show. So if any of this sounds appealing or even remotely interesting, tune in tomorrow evening for season 3, episode 22 of Babylon 5, Zahadum. So with all that freckless shilling out of the way, let's get down to business. And that business is unfortunately the return of the RIP segment. So this past week, we lost 2 stars of prominence, but boy, they couldn't be more different on the spectrum of fame than if you tried. Our first, we lost Oscar winner and Star Trek icon Louise Fletcher. She was 88 years old when she passed away in her home in France, and it was reported, I think, by Variety Friday night, and then of course the Hollywood trades kind of picked it up and ran with it over the weekend. Her career dates actually back to the 50s, and she's equally famous for her Star Trek role of Kai Wynn, or I'm sorry, she started as Vadic Wynn and becomes Kai Wynn, but also for her Oscar-winning turn as Nurse Ratchet in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest from 1975. So yeah, she was quite a tour de force, and she will be sorely missed by Star Trek fans and just great fans of cinema alike. She had a much bigger resume than the 2 we're going to land on, but I thought Kai Wynn was one of the best side characters they created in Deep Space Nine.
Oh yeah, everyone. She was like, the Queen hates the I forget her name off the top of my head, but the woman in the pink dress from Harry Potter. She hates her, and I just remember when Kai Wynn showed up on screen, she knew how to just own that screen and just get everybody to love to hate that character. I mean, people just like, ooh, Kai Wynn.
I know.
So yeah, did a great job there.
And the ironic thing is, I was looking at kind of like John Delancey as Q. She only made 14 appearances in the entire show.
Oh, see, now when you say that, it makes me think like, dude, she was just big on that screen, because I was like, I'm surprised to hear only 14, because I'm like,
yeah.
I can just picture being almost throughout the whole series.
That's according to Trek Movie. Anyway, that's what they say. And Trek Movie wouldn't lie to me.
No, of course not. Of course not.
So, and we also lost, and boy, again, like I said, I'm sorry, Mr. Narwhal, do you want to say anything about Louise Fletcher?
Nope, moving on.
Oh, okay, all right. And finally, the other one, like as I said, the pendulum swung both ways. We lost Coolio last night. He passed away at age 59, reported by TMZ. Again, they reported it, and looks like it was a cardiac arrest. We don't have any additional details available, but obviously, yeah, Fantastic Voyage is a great song, but everybody knows, man, Gangster's Paradise.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it was what did that was, I think they featured in that Michelle Pfeiffer movie, Dangerous Minds.
Yep.
I think, and that's what kind of just shot him to the top. So
that, and then also I had like a little bit of a resurgence after the Amish Paradise with Al Yankovic. So I mean, like, yeah, that's been a very prolific song over and over again. I mean, like, yeah.
Oh yeah, and don't forget he was an actor too. I mean, he shot, and honestly, for those who have seen the director's cut of the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie, he's got a pretty significant part in that movie. And by the way, that cut of that movie is pretty damn good. I must say it's not anywhere as sophisticated as the Netflix show, but for the time of where comic book movies were, it was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed it. Let's put it that way. It may not to kind of go off on a tangent here. I still, one of the most kind of like scenes that still was just like, wow, never thought about that, really hit me like as a thought scene, was the fact when he came back from fighting crime. He basically, yanked the tooth out, put it on the thing, and then he went into a sensory deprivation chamber to basically try to help block out everything so he could rest. And I had never thought about that for the character, not having the enhanced senses that he had, how he would deal with that to be able to rest and sleep and everything. So I thought, man, what a really thoughtful scene to show how he has to cope just to be able to shut everything out to be able to rest and recuperate. So
yeah. By the way, Vicky Lynn Burke is here.
Yep.
And Sprout said he was also in Futurama.
Yes, he was.
He played Kwanzaa.
And Gangster's Paradise, yeah, Vicky. Everybody love, and I love Amish Paradise too. So, and that's one of the funny things is, all these rap guys, they've got an image to keep, and at some point, Coolio said something about, Weird Al, man, he stole my song, he didn't give me permission, blah blah, and so like I think he said it at an award show somewhere. Well, Weird Al was there, and they asked him about it, and said, so what do you think about, Coolio was upset about your song? He's like, well, he didn't seem upset when he cashed the check,
They never are. They never are.
Well, it's ironic because before his death, someone actually asked him about that, right?
Really?
Someone asked him, are you still in a beef with Weird Al? And Coolio was like, look, man, I was stupid. I was trying to play the big man, and I've since settled any kind of hash with Weird Al, and I freaking love that song now, and I think it is awesome. So before he died, he had really shown himself to be a fan of the parody.
Well, and I'm sorry, but if you don't like Weird Al, there's a party that's dead inside. I mean, they're just dead. I mean, even my wife who does it. I mean, Turtle Gal is not a fan of like the Leslie Nielsen movies, and parody is not her thing, right? I guarantee you, there's at least one Weird Al song she likes. Now, after that one song's over, I can't play anymore.
Yeah. She's not going to go to a concert, but she's like, oh, yeah, I like that song. It's all right. You can let that one play. I got you.
I got it.
So, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do kind of we're going to start right in Mr. Narwhal. But hey, I would say Mr. Narwhal's thinking, great, I get more graphics to make, but he's an award-winning producer, so it's not that, it shouldn't be that big of a deal for him. We're going to start doing a breaking news segment, stuff that there's really not a whole lot to cover on, but we've got 3 quick items that dropped just today. Well, one of them dropped a couple days ago, and then 2 of them dropped today. The oldest one is we found out earlier, or was it over the weekend, I guess, that James Earl Jones is officially retiring from acting and voice work and everything else.
Oh, I hadn't heard he was actually retiring from acting. I just knew that I had heard that he was retiring as the voice actor for Darth Vader.
No, he is retired. I think he's retiring 100%.
Narwhal?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And so and of course, part of that deal was, I'm sure every Star Wars fan went, no, they heard that, but not Darth Vader's most
no
menacing line. But
I can almost see James Earl Jones like, I'm not going to do that. So they had to get somebody else. Like, hey, you got a good deep voice. You kind of sound like James Earl Jones. Can you do the no?
Well,
I don't know.
Funny thing is, you say that he signed over the voice. His I don't know how you sign over your voice. Does that mean every time you talk to somebody, you got to send Lucasfilm a couple of dollars? I mean, I don't know what that even means.
Narwhal, can you expand on that?
Yeah.
Well, what it is there is a company that is out of the Ukraine that actually does these kind of voice deep fakes. You know how they sort of record people's voices to do like Siri and turn-by-turn directions. Well, essentially, that's what they've done with James Earl Jones now. They've recorded him basically, saying all of the phrases and all of the sounds that you would need to essentially create anything that you want him to say, whole cloth. So that way, if in 20 years they want Darth Vader to say, whatever they want him to say, they can just type it into a computer and spit it out, and boom, you've got James Earl Jones saying, "This is CNN."
Now, didn't Majel Barrett do something similar for Star Trek? So she would always be the voices for the computers and stuff?
She did before she passed. She went through the same process. It was not quite as advanced as it
Right.
is now, but essentially the theory behind it is the same. So that way they can recreate her voice
Mhm.
as the computer.
Right. Now, when they sign over, is that, I mean, do they still get royalties for the voice, or is it they just sign it over and now it can be used freely? I mean, what's that mean for the actor, I
So
guess?
it depends. It depends on in some cases, they are able to pay a flat fee. In the majority of the cases, it's a royalty arrangement. So that way, every time that some film, some Star Wars project, some any project uses that James Earl Jones voice, James Earl Jones or his estate would get a royalty check.
Interesting.
And
Nice.
So,
it's not just voices anymore, because I actually have some extra breaking news that I don't know that anyone on this panel is aware of.
all
But
right.
there was actually a similar deal that was just announced today.
I think I know what you're going to say, but go for it.
The legendary Bruce Willis is the first actor to officially sign over his likeness rights
Oh,
to
wow.
allow companies to create digital doubles to allow him to continue working and getting money for roles that he may appear in. In fact, the first project that falls underneath this is a commercial that's sort of like an action adventure kind of
Mhm.
commercial. I believe it's for a phone company.
Really?
And
Hmm.
his likeness is going to be used in this commercial, but it's 100% a CG creation.
Right. Well, I can't say I'm not surprised that it's gone
Yeah.
this way. I mean, they've been talking about the deep fake stuff for a long time on the likeness. You have that one guy that's doing the Tom Cruise stuff all the time, and dude,
Yeah.
it looks amazing and stuff. And I think we get to see a lot of that when they are using stars to de-age them or age them CGI,
Yeah.
and it's kind of cool in a sense that we'll actually be able to see some of our fan favorite actors continue to progress in a career where maybe their physical or mental limitations are not
Yeah.
allowing them to do so. So I don't know. That's actually kind of cool. But it's also a little, I can see both sides of it in the sense
Kind of
that
scary too.
it is kind of scary. So it's like, hmm. So anyway, interesting,
Well,
great to hear.
especially when you look at the fact that we can now recreate the voice and we can now
Hmm.
recreate the image. At this point, what literally is keeping us from having Tom Cruise appear in movies in 100 years from
I
now?
know.
Literally,
Yeah.
we have reached the point where doesn't matter if a person is dead or not. That
Right,
actor, that likeness, that character can continue from now until
yeah,
literally the end of time.
right. Top Gun Maverick 27,
That's right.
Maverick in space.
Maverick.
Right.
They just take 6 movies to do that. Just ask Fast and Furious. He doing 6.
Well,
Maverick doing
He's
Maverick
gonna
doing
fight
3.
Thor
Yeah.
and Jason and
Yeah. Yeah.
and Freddy
By the way,
Krueger's keeping him awake.
yeah, we've got let's see here. Oh, Vicky Lynn Burke also mentioned that her favorite Weird Al, one of the Weird Al songs she loves is "Eat It." Lori Van Pool's and Mufasa, and Sprout say, of course, if he was the voice of Alexa, he'd be a bazillionaire.
Oh,
And there's some discussion here about who retains the right. Rhonda Carlisle is watching. Man,
yeah,
we are filling up tonight. This is great.
it's awesome.
Tom Cruise will never do that. You need to show him the money, says B5 Babe. Actually, Tom Cruise just in the last year has actually finally started to age. He may be making movies still at
Yeah,
130 years
it's
old.
true. It's true.
Mhm.
Oh man, this is great. And Sprout says, hey, he said, thank God I won't be around to see Mission Impossible 75. But here's the thing. I would not be. I wonder how they would feel like if William Shatner did his likeness and now we get young Captain Kirk again.
Oh man.
I
Oh
mean,
man.
think about that. I mean, and you could get like Adam Nimoy and you could recreate Leonard Nimoy over him. I mean, well, I'm really going off on a tangent now.
Well, yeah,
Anyway,
Anyway, hey, guess what, guys? James Earl Jones has signed over his voice.
That's right.
So
This
he
was supposed to be the breaking
Vader and
news
everything.
segment, you know.
Yeah, it's supposed to be quick news. But hey,
And next one is, we've often lamented the fact that, or well, there's not lament. We've debated the topic that they did not recast T'Challa, because with Chadwick Boseman's passing. By the way, another piece of breaking news: apparently, Wakanda Forever is going to be the second longest Marvel movie in the Marvel Films pantheon, which Ryan Coogler, I got 100% faith in you, so I'm not worried about that. But anyway, there's been a serious debate around the interwebs about should they just recast T'Challa so we can continue to tell Black Panther stories, And my thing was, if you got a good actor that people loved, people would go for it, because this wasn't a contract dispute. This wasn't an actor behaving badly who was this was an untimely passing. And the same thing happened with William Hurt, who played General Thunderbolt Ross. Well, apparently they don't have these same kinds of misconceptions, because apparently they're trying to recruit Harrison Ford as General Thunderbolt Ross. Now, we're not really sure where this is, because this is literally breaking news. We don't know if they've reached out to him and he's turned it down, or we do know that he is like their dream choice. If they were to get anyone for Thunderbolt Ross, they want Harrison Ford to do it.
Right.
With Ryan Coogler and T'Challa, I think that there's an interesting story to be told there with T'Challa's passing. Looking at sort of what does Wakanda look like when its greatest hero has fallen.
Yeah.
And,
right.
I think that is probably more of a story decision.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at recasting Chad Boseman, and especially considering how really close the cast
Mm-hmm.
and the crew was to Chad Boseman, that I think it's almost a case of they're using this film to sort of mourn the passing of their friend, as opposed to General Ross, who as good of an actor as William Hurt was, his impact to the MCU isn't anywhere near as large as Chadwick Boseman's was. So, I can see them potentially doing a recast on that, especially if it's a really good story that they want to tell with Thunderbolts.
Right. And I agree with you 100%. Even in the trailer for Wakanda Forever, the scene where Angela Bassett's on the podium and she says, "I've sacrificed my family for this." It's such a powerful scene.
Yeah.
Knowing that Chadwick Boseman is no longer with us, and kind of really delves into that story. So I don't know. I like I said, I agree. I think it's a healing film for the cast and crew that worked with Chadwick on the Black Panther movies and stuff. So I'm actually appreciative they didn't recast. And to just echo what Narwhal said, there's William Hurt, great actor. He's given us a lot of great stuff throughout his career.
Oscar winner.
But
he won an
Oscar, yeah. But his role in the storytelling of the Marvel franchise has been minute. It's always been kind of just this. He's been the one that's kind of been delivering the news, or kind of been kind of the big bad of a scene, not the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we all know who General Ross actually becomes,
right?
And that's Red Hulk. And with the Thunderbolts, it was his crew that was put together. So the storytelling for the Thunderbolts and General Ross, I don't think was over yet. And so, in order to complete that story, I think he has to be recast to continue to move forward.
So if they do get Harrison Ford, are we going to see Harrison Ford turn into the Red Hulk?
I would think yes.
That would be apeshit insane, man. It's like you are Han Solo, Indiana Jones, and the Red Hulk. Like, can you imagine this guy? And he's 70. That's the other thing too. He's 70.
Yeah. And that you're going to have shots of Harrison Ford with the dots all over his face, looking grumpy as hell, going, can't believe I have to do this.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And so B5 Babe just brought up a great point that we've got to remember, is that he's not the first actor. William Hurt wasn't the first actor to play Ross. You got to remember, Sam Elliott played him first.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. That's
I
correct.
had too.
Yep.
Thanks, B5 babe. So yeah, so I mean, it's not like he hasn't been recast before. So
Terrence Howard can stop bitching.
He won't.
He won't. But yeah.
Because that kind of leads into the great next breaking news segment.
Yeah, it does. Thank God these breaking segments are so short. Everybody knows that one of the things that's been announced is an Armor Wars series, and apparently the Armor Wars series has been promoted to a feature film. Now, whether that means they couldn't get 9 episodes out of Armor Wars, or the stuff they were getting looked so great they just decided to go theatrically with it. I don't know.
Is it official or is it rumored? I haven't had a chance to read the article, so I was just kind of curious. Is this still kind of in rumor that it is going, or this is confirmed that it is transitioning to a full film? Do we know?
I do not know. I think Goldar posted the article, so I do not know. But I see Mr. Narwhal's looking.
It looks like he's looking very astute there.
Yes, he's looking very astute. You're almost like an award winner.
Award-winning producer.
Yes.
If he would just have some award that would sit there with him while he does his research, I think
that's right. That's right. Apparently, it is confirmed. That they have decided to flip this from a Disney Plus series to a full theatrical release. And the question is, is it that they decided to compress this 9-hour, 6-hour, however long it was going to be, a series down to a 2-hour movie, or is it that they have a big star in Don Cheadle, and they decided that maybe they decided to leverage his star power a little bit more appropriately, giving us sort of something new there. And they have other issues with Marvel right now that they need to sort of address, and it could very well be that this is an effort to perhaps offset some disappointing news that we've gotten out of Marvel,
to plug a hole, maybe. Because, but I say, because
it's just flowing, guys, man. We're on this goes right into the other.
It does go into the we got a couple of things here. So we've confirmed that Armor Wars is going to be a film. We've also confirmed that another Marvel film that was announced, actually I think it was announced back in the before time. I want to say they announced it in like 1978 that Mahershala Ali was going to be playing Blade, and we just keep wondering where this script or where this movie is. And apparently it was dealt a huge blow when they announced not only did they lose their director, but that apparently the script isn't that great. Now, this comes from the article I'm reading from, was posted at cbr.com, comicbookresources.com. And an industry insider who I looked up, his name is Jeff Snyder, and apparently he's pretty legit. Like if he says something's going on, it's he's not just making something up, or he's not going on half-baked sources. Per a Twitter post by Jeff Snyder, an entertainment industry journalist and reporter for The Ankler, Blade is suffering from production delays due to issues with the movie's script. This is his quote: "I'm told that the current Blade script is roughly 90 pages and features exactly 2 lackluster action sequences. Mahershala Ali said to be very frustrated with the process. Feige is said to be spread too thin, but hey, that's just what sources are telling me. Don't shoot the messenger." This also comes amid news that the film's director, Bassam Tariq, has officially exited the project due to ongoing production shifts. Guys, since Goldar's not here, can I say it?
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like some DC shit. This sounds like some Warner Brothers DC horse shit. I mean, seriously, how do you announce an actor like 3 Comic-Cons ago and not even have a script ready?
Right.
And by the way, the Turtle Gal and I recently rewatched Blade and Blade 2. Those are going to be hard acts to follow, man.
Oh, yeah.
They really are.
Wesley Snipes did a great job. I mean,
yeah.
Trinity was rough to watch. I get it. I mean, Ryan Reynolds was great in it.
Yeah.
man, her name just jumped out of my head.
Oh,
Jessica
Jennifer,
Biel.
Mrs. Timberlake.
Yes,
Timberlake. Yeah.
Jessica Biel.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in it. I mean, to me, the cast was fine. Parker Posey was interesting and stuff. I don't know, just something about the script didn't work for me. None of the actors in it were bad. It was just the story.
You know what I think though? If we didn't have Blade and Blade 2, we would love that freaking movie.
Yeah, of course.
I really do. I really think if we didn't have Blade and Blade 2 to compare it to, that was cool. That was a cool movie. You know, it'd be kind of like Constantine. You'd be like, oh yeah, I saw that. It was cool. You know, so
hey, that could have been another breaking news right there because I don't think we ever talked about it.
No, we didn't.
Constantine 2 is being announced with Keanu's coming out.
That's right.
Is it in production or going to be starting soon or something like that? Anyway,
so
a lot of good breaking news. It seems like
they're,
like you said, it looks like they're trying to plug a lot of holes here with like scrambling. Like, hey, people really love these shows. Let's try to do something because the ones that we're working on are just sinking fast.
But think about this though, guys. I mean, you know, we've all acknowledged that, I mean, even to various degrees, that there has been a drop in quality in Marvel. Okay. Now our opinions of where that drop has been they've not always lined up. And you know, so but that's another thing too, is usually all the Marvel stuff was universally beloved. And now it's like, I can't stand WandaVision, but Narwhal might like it, or, you know, I mean, it's that kind of stuff. And so it's not as universally beloved as it used to be. And even with that, there's been with the exception of Shang-Chi and Spider-Man No Way Home, there's really been some significant drops in quality. And what we're seeing here, I think, with this remark about Feige being spread too thin, which is something we've all kind of suspected, there's a huge problem at the sausage factory, folks, and it's now spilled out into the street.
Well, go ahead, Narwhal.
Well, especially when you consider that the director who left the project, the Sumtree, you know that he's only ever directed one film before, and it was not an adventure film, you know, and it's one of those things that you know, Marvel had or has a reputation, you know, for finding young new talent that has maybe done one or two films and then giving them the shot to go through and you know, make a big budget action picture. And sometimes it hits, you know, with people like Daniel David Cretton, who did Shang-Chi. And in this case, my gut sort of tells me that the people that they had working on this just weren't really up to the task, you know, especially when they've been working on it for this long. And you've got, you know, a star who was basically, you know, pretty close to going on record saying that, you know, the project is just sort of not really working at this point. And you know, the director leaves. Yeah, you can definitely tell that they need to get some fresh blood in, but they also need to get somebody in there who has a little bit more chops in this kind of filmmaking.
Well, I've heard of some new young, you know, commercial producer that just won an award that may be willing to break his teeth in there. So I mean, like, you know, I vote we give that. There it is, people. There it is.
It is right there. By the way, Lori Vanpool had to jump off. She's got to conserve phone battery. She's been 30 hours without power. So, Lori, we were glad you were here. I think she's already gone. Rhonda told her bye. B5 Babe says Hurt also wasn't. That's okay. First actor to play the general. Sprout believes that Harrison Ford will contractually kill the general in the next sequel. Will he walk straight into one of Wolverine's claws? Will he just
I think he will.
Wolverine?
He would just like to stare him in the face. He's like.
And Rhonda thinks that he can pull it off. If not, maybe Clint. Yeah, okay, I'd agree with that. And
Clint
and Sprout also, why didn't the award winner have an assistant?
Yeah. Now she talked about if he could pull it off. If not, maybe Clint.
Clint Eastwood.
Like, man, I don't know if you guys seen him in Cry Macho, but I think Clint's too old. I mean, really? I don't know what their age in comparison, but he threw a
Clint's in his late 80s, I think.
Clint threw a punch in Cry Macho, and I'm telling you right now, it looks like, I mean, anybody could have survived that punch. Back in the day, if Clint Eastwood hit you, dude, you felt that through the screen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He punched this guy on the screen, and I'm like, that actor should have gotten an award for looking like that punch hurt as much as he probably, you know, looked like he pretended he was. It was just like, the guy's like, just flew back against the car, and everyone's like, dude, I mean, I'm sorry, my
They
dog
should bring
jumps
they
on
should
me.
bring Sam Elliott back to do it. That's what I think.
Yeah,
I think he
yeah.
would kill it. I'd love it.
Oh
I'd
my
love it.
gosh. You want to talk about someone to, there's like a half dozen actors in Hollywood. Like I would not want to take a real punch from you. Sean Connery was one of them.
Hmm.
Sam Elliott is another one. Like,
Yeah.
by the way, it looks here that it says it's unclear, and I'm still looking at this article. It's unclear whether Blade's reported script woes contributed to Tariq's decision to leave the project. But he of course he does the whole standard, he bears no ill will, been an honor
Yeah.
working with
Yeah.
these wonderful folks, the typical kind of stuff. But guys, this is gonna normally I'd say let this thing just die on the vine and pull it from the schedule, but it's unlike another movie we're going to talk about that may have to. This is going to affect the entire release structure of Phase 5. So this could be why they are promoting Armor Wars to a film.
Right.
Well
now, I've got the Phase 5 kind of chart up, if you guys can see it or not. But and so I'm looking here, and I don't even see the Armor Wars listed anywhere on that chart. I mean, if it's it goes from Wanda, it goes from Quantum Mania, Secret Invasion, Guardians of the Galaxy, Echo. Looks like Loki and the Marvels. Then you got Blade and Ironheart. Then you got Agatha, Daredevil, Captain America, New World Order, and then the Thunderbolt. So where is even the
I don't
Armor War
know.
supposed to drop? I mean, because if they're trying to do it to kind of fill a hole for Blade, I don't see where it's. If that's the truth, I mean, then they didn't really have much of a. I'm sorry, they don't really have much of a story arc that they're trying to tell. If they could just pick and pull movies out of their lineup. So I don't know. Narwhal, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So a lot of people had commented on the fact that the Armor Wars was not mentioned during the Comic-Con presentation where they rolled out that graphic. And then when they brought Don Cheadle up during D23 to sort of reconfirm that yes, Armor Wars is still in the pipeline. And they even confirmed there that it was supposed to be a Disney Plus series.
Right.
So this decision was made from my gut feeling fairly quickly, in that they have something that they need to fill that hole. So I would be very surprised if we didn't see Armor Wars taking that Blade slot at this point.
Mm. So kind of going back to that and everything, let me pull the image back up and stuff. So for our fans, so basically that story would happen almost it's supposed to look like Blade was shooting for November of 2023, and then basically Ironheart was going to be the fall of 2023. So not really sure when that would pull. So I mean, the stories could be told pretty close within each other, and so
it might actually create the appearance of cohesion.
Right.
Well, and they also had mentioned that they had planned for Armor Wars to be almost a direct follow-up to the events of Secret Invasion. So I'm going to be very curious to see exactly how this is going to play out now, if they are in fact going to keep it tied into the events of Secret Invasion, or if they're going to condense the story somewhat and make it a little tighter. Because if you have, let's say, a 6-episode series, you have a lot more room to go down rabbit holes and to address subplots, and you don't necessarily have that luxury in a 2 to 2.5 hour film. I could definitely see.
Hey guys, I got to jump off for just a second. Keep talking. I will let the presenting going on, but I'm just going to mute my video and mic, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So when we're looking at this sort of a difference between, let's say, a 6-hour series and a 2-hour series, I could definitely see them, cutting out maybe some of the more explicit Secret Invasion kinds of plot lines, or maybe we're wrong, and really the meat of this story is something that is Secret Invasion related.
Right.
Because I've always wondered about Secret Invasion regarding the fact that one of the key elements of the Secret Invasion comic storyline is the fact that you have established characters in the Marvel universe that for years and years have secretly been Skrulls.
Right.
I've long wondered that, since we know that in fact Don Cheadle is a character in Secret Invasion, what would it be like if we found out that the Don Cheadle that we've been following for the past, let's say, 6-7 years, wasn't the real Rhodey? It was really a Skrull that
and the real Rhodey is played by Terrence Howard.
That could very well be. That would be a crazy bit of casting, I will say that. But maybe that's sort of part of this whole Armor Wars thing, is that Rhodey has come back from his captivity, as almost a mirror of Robert Downey Jr.'s being captive in the very first Iron Man. And basically he recaptures the whole Iron Man War Machine character from his Skrull duplicate. But then it's also sort of looking at the legacy of Tony Stark and really him becoming either the new War Machine or potentially even the new Iron Man.
That would be cool. Yeah. I mean, that would be really freaking cool, and that's one of the things about this secret invasion thing. And you brought this up. The thing that made it work in the comic book was they, like you said, they had all these legacy characters that we found out were Skrulls. Most of the legacy characters they're getting rid of. I mean, and one of my favorite legacy characters who they've yet to introduce, who plays a huge part in Secret Invasion, is Jessica Drew's Spider-Woman, and we have no idea if that character is even part of this. So
we know that the not the character of Spider-Woman per se, but the character that was being masqueraded, the Queen Veronica character in Secret Invasion.
Right.
So the question is now, who will that character be cosplaying as?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, if they want to make it a legacy character, I wonder if it's going to be Maria Hill.
Could be Maria Hill. That could be very interesting. But we've already seen Maria Hill basically be a Skrull, right? It would have to be somebody significant enough to the Marvel universe for it to really work. And that's why I think Rhodey is probably the number one a character that this could very well be.
By the way, Jay Pyatt, the Blues Man, is in the house tonight.
Blues Man.
He is enjoying the show. He's enjoying the show. Well, hopefully the Rev's not having a 4-alarm work meltdown. But it seems like Disney's not the only studio taking it on the chin here lately. We've seen, we saw Sony's Morbius flop not once but twice. And this probably, I didn't roll this out in the breaking news because I haven't really dug into it, but I guess Warner Brothers is being investigated by the SEC for possibly cooking their HBO Max subscription numbers, and normally I'd be saying, man, Paramount's probably kicking back laughing, counting that Top Gun cheddar, but they got a serious blow today. I believe it was it today, or was it no, it was
earlier this week.
Yeah, earlier this week. It looks like this is another story from trekmovie.com, and it broke on September 27th. And essentially Star Trek 4, the fourth Kelvin timeline movie, has been yanked from the release schedule again because they've lost the director again. They've tried to put this, they've been trying to put this movie together since 2016. I mean, and that is just, man, I mean, and by the way, I loved Star Trek Beyond. I don't have raving things to say about the Kelvin timeline. I really enjoy Star Trek 09. I really like Star Trek Beyond. Into Darkness is entertaining, but it's kind of dumb. I mean, let's just say it's kind of a dumb movie. But I'll sit there and I can dunk on it and trash talk it all day long. And 5 minutes into it, I'm stopping whatever I'm doing, just sitting there and watching it because it's entertaining. I mean, so. There's so many things I like about the Kelvin timeline, the cast in particular, and I like the fact that they really give Star Trek kind of a prestige treatment. But they've tried to put this movie together. I don't know how many times they've been through 4 or 5 directors. I think this director left, and for me, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because that director was Matt Shankman, and he was 100% responsible for WandaVision. and we've all heard me wax eloquently about my disdain for that piece of Marvel entertainment. I couldn't stand WandaVision, and the fact that he was going to sink his claws into my beloved, well, not as beloved as it was, Star Trek, just made me just cringe. But now he's gone, so maybe we could hire Jonathan Frakes, possibly somebody who's worked in new Trek and old Trek and seems to kind of have a love and kind of a good grasp for what works in that and what doesn't. Because now, do I think does this mean the movie's not going to happen? No. Do I think it? I don't know. Because here's I'll tell you what, Narwhal, what do you think? You think this is the death knell for Star Trek 4?
I've thought that this movie was dead like 3 or 4 times already, and it sort of keeps coming back. My question is, has anyone actually contacted the crew and told them that the movie's canceled? Because
yeah,
there's history here, that they make these decisions and they don't tell Chris Pine or Zach Quinto that anything's going on. So it's one of those things that, do I think that there's going to be another Star Trek movie? Well, yeah, absolutely, obviously. Do I think it's going to be a Kelvin movie? At this point, I'm probably 70-30 saying that we're probably not going to see anything from the Kelvin timeline again, just because it's been so long. There's not been a great groundswell of love and appreciation at this point for the Kelvin timeline, and honestly, I think that there's other stories to be told in Star Trek. I've long been a proponent that Star Trek belongs on the small screen, and Star Wars, is more suited to a lot of the big screen kind of things. And that's been changing lately with a lot of the Disney Plus shows that we have. But
not by choice.
But it still doesn't change the fact that Star Trek works best when it's told in smaller, more intimate stories, and not quite so big budget, bombastic, Michael Bay-esque kind of exploding storytelling.
And I would agree with you 100% with that. Like, because and let's say you, me, and the Rev sat down and we looked at our top 10 show episodes from all the series. Okay. Excuse me, all the classic Berman era series, the classic and the Berman era series. If we listed our top 10 episodes, and they probably wouldn't all be the same, but I guarantee you 50% of them would lend themselves well to the big screen, like Balance of Terror or Best. And the other 50% is like, you couldn't do Measure of a Man for 2 hours. Yeah. You couldn't do Who Watches the Watchers for 2 hours, or City on the, I mean, you just couldn't do it. And I agree with you that Trek really does its thing well on the small screen. And also, one of the things I have, as much as I love that Star Trek 09 was the first time since Star Trek the Motion Picture that they let Trek kind of swing for the fences, I have been a proponent, and I've been swayed and come to believe that part of the problem with this franchise right now is new Trek costs too damn much to make. I mean, Star Trek, despite those of us like myself who love it, I have to remind myself that Star Trek is still a niche property. It has always been a niche property, even though it basically, the old shows have basically kept the lights on at Paramount since the mid 70s. But at the same time, despite all the merch that it sells, look at so Star Trek 09, I think, cost like about 130 million to make, and it made about 400 million worldwide, I think, somewhere around there. Which was huge. It was the biggest return they'd ever gotten on a Star Trek movie, and that's a profit. It's about 4 times the budget. Let me be a little under. Okay. Star Trek Into Darkness, they were trying to do the Dark Knight thing, and basically they were thinking, hey, if Batman Begins made X, the Dark Knight made $1 billion, well, then we'll do the same thing with Into Darkness. And it made, I think it made about 50 or 60 million more than Star Trek 09, but it cost like another 50 million to make. So they really didn't go anywhere. And of course, Beyond, unfortunately, tanked. It made like 350 because Into Darkness was such a divisive film, and it took so long to get Beyond out. And my point is, if you could have made all 3 of those films for $70-80 million, we'd be on our ninth Kelvin film by now. Yeah. And I think that's part of the problem. Do you agree with that? Do you think they're going too big on the budgets on these things?
Well, when you're looking at this kind of film, this kind of science fiction film, you have some basic costs baked in, right? You've got a lot of special effects. You've got a lot of spaceship shots. You got a lot of CG, a lot of green screen.
Right.
You have all of these just costs that if you're going to tell a story set in space, you have to have these things. The thing that really plays into this bloated budget is the fact that you've got big stars who are filling those roles.
Right.
When you have people, like Patrick Stewart, John Frakes, Brent Spiner, Patrick Stewart is a big star, but when the shows originally aired and when the first movies came out, they were not big stars at that point. They were known people, but you don't bank a $300 to $400 million picture just on the name Patrick Stewart,
right?
As opposed to now you've got the two biggest stars in these films. You've got Chris Pine, who is a really big star, and then you have Zoe Saldana, who is equally as big of a star as Chris Pine at this point. Yeah. And then on top of that, then you have people like Zachary Quinto. You've got Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Not major movie stars. They are bankable enough that they still have a rather large paycheck that are coming towards them, and when you get those kinds of costs, those budgets are just going to keep going up and up and up, and then when you add on top of that the fact that you've got J.J. Abrams, who is masterminding these films, and his production company takes a pretty sizable cut as well. You've got to scale back somewhere. You've got to cut costs somewhere. And if you're going to cut costs somewhere, that you can't cut costs on special effects and you can't cut costs on CG. You've got to cut costs in your cast, in your production. You've got to find ways to get savings on those. And as long as you've got Chris Pine and Zoe Saldana, I don't see that happening.
Yeah. Well, and because of the last film's performance, none of them are going to be willing to take a back end deal either. If the last movie had made money, they'd all been like, yeah, okay, we'll do that. But they wouldn't even do that. Now it's like, no, man, we're going to get paid, and my vote is to cut out Bad Robot, but I don't know how. One thing J.J. Abrams has proven to be a mastermind at, one is creating really good TV shows and then not having a payoff for them. And secondly, he's proved a mastermind at getting paid, and he has sunk his claws into Star Trek and Star Wars, and for whatever reason, they cannot get them out. I don't know if the buyout's too much. I don't know, but because it looks like Warner Brothers is getting rid of him. It looks like, because none of his projects have come to fruition. But that's a whole different deal altogether. But anyway, we'll see what happens with Star Trek 4. The Blues Man 100% agrees with us both on the cost of the latest movies. Yeah, just way too much money. Star Trek's never been, again, God bless Star Trek the motion picture and Star Trek 09. But, if they could have held the cost at Star Trek 09's level, I think we'd have been okay. But anyway.
Then plus you've got, like guest stars,
They
wanted to put Chris Hemsworth in this most recent one. And he's got a rather large a paycheck coming. And then obviously with, Star Trek Into Darkness, you had Rebel Pump, you had him in there, and
exactly. So again, for me, it's even money. I think maybe we should let this thing die on the vine. Now I'm not going to lie. Would I think, especially with how they've all aged out, would I love to see Chris Pine as Admiral Kirk, and he comes back and has to put the old crew back together? I think that would be a lot of fun. Would it be kind of weird because we only got 3 like real Star Trek movies out of him? Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I don't know. Be interesting to see. You
I'd
know,
like to see it just a new story, a new crew, a new
Mhm.
take on it.
And
That's what I would really like to see,
I
especially
don't know if. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, especially considering that they've been trying to stretch the franchise on Paramount's Paramount streaming service, by introducing obviously Strange New Worlds, and then you've got their two animated series. They're looking to expand out the franchise. They're looking to grow it in new ways, and I think that for me, if I had to put my money on a franchise that I'd like to see sort of brought around, I wouldn't mind seeing a Strange New Worlds movie. I think that could be a really
Oh,
interesting film.
100%. And I don't know if you know this or not, but right before um, Star Trek '09 was put in development, well, I want to say this was like in '06 or '07, somewhere around there. Enterprise had been canceled. There was no active Star Trek property in development. And Carrie McCluggage, who was head of Paramount, got I cannot remember the guys. I'm sorry, he just lost my Eric Jenderson, the guy that created Band of Brothers. I want to
Doesn't
say
ring a
I
bell,
want to say
but
his name's Eric Jenderson. Anyway, he called him over to, and he said, "Man, we were looking to redevelop Star Trek. Can you do something?" And he's like, "I'm not a Star Trek fan, you know." And he said, "Well, but we like what you do on Band of Brothers. Can you do something like that for Star Trek?" And he said, "I'm not a Star Trek fan." And they said, "Well, we would like you to do this." So he went and watched all 79 episodes of the original series, all the episodes of Enterprise, all the episodes of, I mean, he watched it all.
wow.
And he came back and he took very, very detailed notes, and he created he wrote outlines for 3 films. It was going to be a trilogy, and he wrote the script for the first film, and it's basically a Romulan war movie that took place after Enterprise but before the series. And it started an ancestor, or it started someone was played an ancestor of Kirk, and I've heard very detailed breakdowns of it, and it sounds phenomenal. Like there, I mean, he holds the Trek canon, and he's very fealty, very, he's got a very fealty type attitude to the Trek canon, and it's so good. And I mean, I've tried to find a PDF of the script, and I can't. Maybe you can have your assistant do that.
I will have him take a look at
Have
it.
him take a look at that. But and I can't even remember what it's called. I think it may be called Star Trek: The Beginning or something like that. But it is an amazing sounding story. I mean, just and there's stuff they pull in there that's just crazy, but yet it still seems to kind of work. And I think that something like that would be great, because it's not next generation super technology, but it's a little bit more advanced in Enterprise, and it fills in a part of Trek lore that fans want to see, you know. So anyway, and let's see here. Oh, what's the Blues Man got? Do you still think a new reboot of Next Gen cast in the Kelvin universe would work or not, and why would it work? Or why? Oh, okay. So the Blues Man brought this up. He saw a story that and he brought it to me because we've all talked about how Giant Freaking Robot can be a bit dubious. So I mean, they do hit, but when they miss, they miss big. And he read a story at Giant Freaking Robot that they were trying to get off the ground a Kelvin version reboot of Next Gen in the Kelvin timeline. Um, much like the original, much like the Kelvin time, a lot of it's going to hinge on 2 different things: the casting and the writing.
Mhm.
And if they could get people who understand Star Trek to write it and then cast it well, I don't see a reason why it couldn't work. Um, I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I mean, again, if you go like deep cut Next Gen, like first season Next Gen, you're going to have 8 main characters on your ship. If you count Tasha Yar and Wesley Crusher, you're going to have 8 characters on your ship. I think that works well better as a series than it does as a movie. But that's just me. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it comes back to the point that Star Trek works better as a TV series.
It
If you're
does.
going to do a movie, it's got to be something that's relatively self-contained. It's got to have, 2 maybe three main characters max. Star Trek has always worked well with trinities.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to have
And four other
something
people that get pissed they didn't get more screen time.
but you got to have a catch, right? You got to have something
Right.
to engage people's interest, and it can't be just the Star Trek fans' interest. It's got to be something that is going to bring in both the casual fans and the hardcore Star Trek fans, and
Right.
that's a tall order. It's hard to come
It
up
is,
with.
and that's where they've kind of messed it up, is because they've gone as you said, the Michael Bay route,
Yeah.
and a lot of hardcore Trek fans found it off-putting, to say the least. And I had mixed feelings on it. There was things about it I really thought worked, and there were things that I didn't think worked. And and so, but anyway, we've waxed about that. So all right, so I think we pretty much talked that story to death. Let's see here. Totally agree with both. Trek does work better on the small screen. Yeah, Bluesman, that was his comment. So I think we pretty much beat assuming Star Trek 4 wasn't dead. I think we beat it to death tonight. Until of course Quentin Tarantino wants to make his, and then, then we'll see what happens. So let's get down to we've done a great job of bearing the lead here at Fanboys 9 and Wednesdays, as we always have. Well, and while people were not happy to find out about Blade, I will guarantee you when Marvel found out that this was going to break, that this news was going to come out, they made a phone call. They made a phone call to two guys that they finally managed to put. They called Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman and said, we need a win. We need something to totally take people's mind off the fact that we've basically crapped the bed with Blade. And in typical Ryan Reynolds fashion, he revealed on social media that not only is Deadpool coming back, but Hugh Jackman is coming back with him as Wolverine. And my gosh, this is something that, I mean, the movies have been working up to this, but none of us really thought this was ever going to happen. Did you?
No, this is one of those things that, like, people would go, yeah, well, wouldn't it be cool if this happened, if that happened? But yeah, there was like a 0.001% chance of this actually coming true. And on occasion, the long shots do pay off.
Yeah. Now, if Marvel can bring now they've already brought an A-list director in Sean Levy, and we know that Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds work well together because, again, my favorite movie of 2020 or 2021 was Free Guy, or was that 2020? Whatever year it was. My favorite movie of that year was Free Guy. So, and that was a way better than it ever deserved to be. And that was like a surprise. Like I expected it to be, I saw the trailers, thought it looked, I thought it looked entertaining, but I never dreamed it would be as good as it was. And so the fact that their next movie together is going to be a Deadpool movie. Now I'm concerned that Marvel has hired two sisters, Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux Logan, to write Deadpool 3. I don't know who these people are. This is going to sound a very sexist remark, and I don't mean it to be that way. Deadpool needs male energy behind it. Not that you can't have female input, but Deadpool is a testosterone off color, just raunchy film that it just needs a male energy behind it. And maybe you got Jackman and Reynolds, and you got Sean Levy there, so maybe that, but it also needs a damn good script, and I don't know who these people are. So
yeah, they've not done a lot. Most of the credits that they have sort of in their repertoire are animated stuff. They worked on Bob's Burgers for many
okay.
years.
Well,
and then they've done a few other smaller shows. They did one called The Great North, but Bob's Burgers is where they've really sort of spent the majority of their career working. But I would sort of counter, I think, what you said there with it being very testosterone. I feel like Deadpool is one of the few Marvel characters that really sort of straddles that line between testosterone and more of an estrogen kind of feel. That, while Deadpool is very testosterone-y kind of thing, he's not like toxic masculinity, testosterone. He has more of a sensitive
He
bent
does.
to
I will
him.
agree with that.
And
Yeah.
I can and just like, you know, in fact, I just watched Deadpool again the other day.
Mhm.
As soon as we heard this announcement, I went back and revisited it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of playing against masculine type in those movies.
Hmm.
So I think that, sort of a female perspective on it could actually be a really interesting turn for this.
Okay. Well, and by the way, the Blues Man agrees with you and disagrees with me. Disagrees with me. I think the girls can do it if their approach is spot on. And he wants this movie with you and Ryan. Absolutely. So yeah. And
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna say, so I'm actually more surprised that Sean Levy is back to direct this film because, he directed the first Deadpool film, and I
Oh, did
understand
he?
he did. He directed the very first
I
Deadpool.
did not know that.
Yeah, and then there was a falling out
Yes.
between Sean Levy and the star Ryan Reynolds, which then led the second film to be directed by David Leitch.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that they've brought Levy back to work on this film, like I said, was a bit of a surprise because I was not aware that they had patched things up between the two of them. So
Yeah. Well, obviously it was before they made Free Guy together.
yeah,
I did not know that. I knew there was a falling out and they'd switched direct. I did not know it was Sean Levy though.
yep,
I did not know that. Wow. Okay. Well, the plot thickens,
the plot
as
does thicken.
as they say, and I don't know what to expect from this. I mean, Deadpool is. I mean, it's always been very meta anyway.
Mhm.
And by the way, this will be Hugh Jackman's last appearance as Wolverine. I mean, no way does he become the Wolverine in the MCU. I mean,
No,
that's just not gonna. So I don't know if they're gonna use some of the time travel shenanigans they used at the end of Deadpool 2. I don't know. I mean, all I know is it's gonna be freaking funny, and at least I hope it is anyway. So
so I heard a person on a TikTok that I follow, sort of talking
mhm,
about maybe what he thought Deadpool 3 could be about. And he had a couple of really interesting thoughts on this.
mhm,
One thing that he said that he thought could be a really interesting turn. But by the way, I was incorrect. The director of Deadpool 1 was a guy named Tim Miller. So
oh, Tim Miller, yeah,
Tim Miller,
okay,
yeah.
yes,
So yeah,
I
so that sort of takes care of that sort of issue that I had. For
okay,
some reason, I
yeah,
thought it was Sean Levy, but considering that Sean Levy and Ryan Reynolds did work on Free Guy, that's, I think, then a very good sign.
yeah,
But back to the point I was trying to make. The two ideas that I've heard that I think could be really interesting. One of which I think is really unlikely, but I think it could be an absolutely hilarious and awesome film. One of the a more well-known Deadpool limited series comics is a series called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe.
oh my God, yes, I know that my Grunch Bullets is a huge Deadpool fan, and she has that graphic novel, and she loves it.
And so just imagine that, Deadpool decides that, there are two universes out there and only one can survive, and he decides that he is going to kill the X-Men universe so then he can move over to the regular
Oh,
MCU.
oh my
And,
God, dude.
and just imagine him, like, going full out, hunting down every random character from the X-Men movies, and then it would be a Deadpool versus
Wolverine.
Wolverine kind of thing. So that way you have that at the
Oh
end.
my gosh. Dude, they could bring back I mean, oh my gosh, can you imagine if they brought back like the cast from the old Fantastic Four movie
Oh
and
yeah.
he killed Jessica Alba and all that. Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh.
Oh
That
yeah.
would be
That would
hysterical.
and, and it would be a way to literally close the door on that entire sort of universe there. Obviously, they're not going to do that because we know that this universe sort of is bleeding into what we have with Logan, and they've already
Right.
said that Logan still happens. This is something that happens before
Right.
Logan. and especially when you also consider that the universe in Deadpool 2, Deadpool and Deadpool 2 technically is sort of its own little
Yeah,
mini sub-universe from the
yeah,
regular X-Men movies, especially when you consider the fact that in the regular X-Men movies, you have one actor playing Colossus, which is a completely different actor slash look than
right.
the Colossus that you have in the Deadpool movies.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, somebody pointed out the original X-Men films, even if you count like the Wolverine movies and what, they're they have continuity ish, like
Uh-huh.
because technically we've already had a Deadpool
Yes,
in the X-Men universe played by Ryan Reynolds with his mouth sewn shut.
correct.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
so the more likely scenario that I think that we're going to have is this going to be sort of a road movie where Logan and Wade Wilson are sort of teaming up, and they are essentially traveling to the current Marvel universe. And I kind of wonder if maybe, it's going to be something that ties in a little bit with the whole Cable sort of jumping back and forth in time, and
oh
there's
yeah,
timeline shenanigans there. Um, um, I would also not be surprised if with Hugh Jackman not being obviously the Logan, the Wolverine from the regular MCU,
right,
I would not be surprised if halfway through the film we have two Wolverines. We have Hugh Jackman, who is playing the Wolverine from the X-Men universe, and
hmm
we have a brand new character who will
yeah.
be the Logan from the regular MCU that we have, and it's almost a passing of the torch in that way.
Yeah, I very well could be. I mean, it'd be great to see Scarlet Witch hook up with Magneto and all all that kind of stuff. But I don't know that
Oh,
that's
yeah,
going
that
to
was going
happen.
to be very meta, very, very meta.
Yeah. Oh
Whatever
yeah.
that.
And if they do it right, it's going to be phenomenal. I mean, it's going to just be crazy. Because see,
Uh,
I thought that Ryan Reynolds already had a script because I thought I remember two other writers that he'd worked with before, but maybe this is maybe they're doing in addition to that. I don't know, but they come out 6 months from now and say they've scrapped it because they were having script trouble. I'm gonna they're Marvel's gonna get burnt down. I mean, they're by the
at this
way,
point, yeah. Well, and I'm willing to bet that the big holdup for this was trying to seal the deal with Hugh Jackman.
oh, absolutely,
I would imagine that had they had this deal completely signed, sealed, and delivered, that they would have announced this at
yeah,
D23.
absolutely.
My guess is there was just a delay in getting contracts signed or getting some T crossed or I dotted,
Mhm.
which then led them to announcing this thing over social media like they
It,
did.
well, and it probably had to do with preserving Logan, the movie Logan, because I mean that was a uh such a pivotal send off for a character. It's one of the best character send offs we've ever had,
Oh
and
yeah,
so
oh
I guarantee you that, or I don't guarantee you, but my thoughts are it could have something to do with that. By the way, the Blues Man says that I want funny mixed with dirty sexiness, along with some good old fashioned hack and slash with his new Deadpool movie. So hey, the Reverend's back.
What's up, everybody? Sorry,
Uh,
a little bit of
That's
work.
okay.
The money making job when it
Uh,
calls, you gotta answer. So yeah.
that's
I
right.
know. I hear you. I hear you.
Well, and one of I think the really greatest things about this that I don't think anyone has really talked about much or anyone has realized, this is going to be the very first R-rated Wolverine that we've seen.
I know. It's
because
going to be
because everything else
fantastic.
that we've done has been the PG-13 relatively bloodless version of Wolverine that we've gotten in the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
There was an unrated version of the last Wolverine movie, which was actually really, really well done in my
Oh,
opinion.
the one where he goes to
Uh,
Japan.
the one where he was in Japan, yes.
Yeah, yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Logan
But
was
this
R
is
rated, or was it PG-13?
well, no, you're actually, I'm not sure if Logan was R-rated
I
or
Well, let
thought
not.
me
the
Fortunately, I have the physical media of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
mean,
I think the Logan, the one he died, actually,
Yes.
believe got an R rating because he was actually cutting people's arms off and stuff. So the violent, gruesome actually got an R rating, which all the fans went crazy for because you were like, you can't do Wolverine without it being hack and slash. So I could
Well,
be incorrect. Am I incorrect?
I don't. Well, no, it's rated R.
Okay.
But I'm not sure which
You are
version
correct.
I've seen because
Rated
there's like
R.
9 discs in here. So I'm not sure which one I've watched. But no, it is
so yeah.
rated R, 100%.
Yeah, it was rated
Can't
R
tell it's
because
right there. Rated R.
boom.
Yeah.
Now those that are watching,
correct.
that is called physical media.
Yes.
And so back in the day, us older guys would actually go to a store, peruse through the media.
Aisles of little things
Yeah,
like that. Looky there.
exactly.
Look at there. All 19 cuts of Logan are.
Yeah. Now you don't have any of the little spindles broke off there, so you're not going to lose one falling out of the case, are you?
No.
So those things break easy, so dang easy and stuff. So
I've even got the
careful.
black and white version.
Man, you just Logan Noir.
I'm surprised you're not using your white gloves to handle this.
I
know. Oh! I was a bit when I bought physical media, I was big on trying to find the ones that like were like spatialized cases and stuff. So like I've got the Iron Man that came out was actually the Iron Man mask. I actually have the one that's Transformers that actually transformed into an Optimus Prime. The case was and stuff like that.
Yeah,
those are the ones I kind of enjoyed to find and everything. Like
here's the thing. I like that kind of stuff too. I've got a few, like I've got the Dark Knight that's in the Batman mask, and I've got here's one of my favorites. This is not a physical media show, by the way, guys.
Right.
My Tron.
Yeah.
Right, here's my Tron set right there.
Now, is your battery still alive? Does it load?
No. Oh gosh, no. I played with it too much. Yeah.
He's over there.
Pew pew.
Pew pew.
And I've got some of the other things like the Bond box up there that you can't see on camera, but here's the thing: all these specialized cases, they don't fit on the media shelf very well.
They don't. So, there's no.
And I'm so anal about that. I'm like,
you got to get one of the little things that kind of like with the base, and so it can kind of lean, stand up. Yeah, it doesn't sit very well. It doesn't. That's fine.
That's fine.
Exactly.
Excellent combo, fellas. I got to dip. Oh, hi, Ronnie. We're glad to have you, man. He's got to dip out, but it's been so great to have you on. Appreciate it, brother.
Yes, sir.
Be safe. Jay says the Rev is back. Yes. So we have just kind of and I'm sorry, what are your thoughts about this Wolverine Deadpool reveal? I mean, like I said, nothing covers up a blade face plant like a win like this.
You guys probably already mentioned it. The fact that the announcement came out pretty much just broke the damn internet and stuff like that for people watching the trailer. And the trailers are great and stuff. So I mean, the banter between Ryan and Hugh is just been so classic and so funny. I can't wait to see this. To be honest, I didn't think it was ever going to happen. I mean, I really thought Hugh Jackman was going to hang it up, but kind of as we were talking before the show, a lot of Hugh Jackman shows since his hanging up of the claws have not been. What was the word you used there, Mr. Geek Boy? There.
I don't remember. Well received or
auspicious?
Auspicious, yes.
Not very auspicious.
Very auspicious, yes.
Yes. So we were trying to be, pretty nice there. No, I mean, I enjoyed The Greatest Showman and everything, but I don't know if that was after the claws were hung up.
That was after. Now,
so
I'll tell you, my biggest Hugh Jackman disappointment was Reminiscence.
Yeah, I see. You told me about that, and I never watched it.
It's not terrible, but boy, because it's not terrible, okay, but it's not particularly good or not particularly great. It's just so. It's a movie. I mean, it is as I've said it, and people know that have been watching us talk for a while, for over the years. When I say this, it's not a compliment, and that is, it is 100% the definition of content.
Right. So I kind of got to hear a little bit about Mr. Narwhal's comments on maybe what the movie was going to be about. I didn't hear it very well. So can you give me a quick highlight of what you think the movie's going to be about, or what you heard it's going to be about?
Did
you say that?
I don't remember what the hell I said.
Well, at one time we theorized that it's going to be some kind of a road trip. We know
Oh,
that,
okay. Is it?
but
All right.
yes, but
That's going to be a road trip
Narwhal
kind of
thought,
thing,
wouldn't it be great? Oh,
uh-huh.
go ahead. If they
Or it
basically
could be,
use the
Deadpool and Wolverine kill the X-Men universe, where they go through and decided to completely just kill off everybody in the Fox X-Men universe, and then move over to
the
move over to
MCU,
the MCU after that.
I got you.
and it would be hilarious if they brought back like I said, they brought back the old Fantastic Four cast and
Right.
he fought them.
That'd be funny. Oh, he fought them and just killed them all. That would actually be pretty funny. I like, would it be funny that after they do that, they kind of have that ending where basically, where they're having the quantum rips from basically No Way Home, and that's how they make the jump in there.
Oh God, that'd be awesome.
I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I mean, and maybe it's just because they brought back Quantum Leap to actually kind of have that Quantum Leap feel come over him, like, what's happening? And then basically pop over there. Kind of like what they did with Vulture and Mobius and stuff like that. But,
I want to see on the new Quantum Leap? You know what
that?
I want to see? I want to, and this is so meta. I said this at work, and a guy across the hall says, "Heinz, shut up. You're so full of crap." What if the new guy leaps into the actor Scott Bakula's body when he's on the set of Enterprise learning the show gets canceled?
But what's he trying to fix?
He's trying to okay, so Bakula's trying to sell the show to Sci-Fi Channel, and we learn that no, the show was supposed to get canceled. That's what we're going to figure out.
All right. And then then we cut to John Hines in his room, like, so I love those uniforms. I was kind of, just kind of shooting off the cuff before we heard that. I was kind of like, is this going to be kind of like, was it going to kind of take it to like a buddy cop story, like, kind of like Mel Gibson and Danny Glover, Lethal Weapon, that kind of stuff, where I don't know. I was thinking, it's definitely going to be a buddy movie and stuff like that.
Oh, definitely.
And I really think I almost expect it to kind of play on the kind of sick, kind of funny humor they have, where the arguments and stuff where like Hugh's just constantly like, Ryan will reach out for like trying to play nice, and then Hugh just slaps him down, or like doesn't realize what's going on. I don't know. There's so many things that I hope to see in this movie. I just can't wait. I can't wait. And I think we're waiting.
My God, you and everybody else. My God, how many views and downloads has it's not even a trailer. It's just two guys on a couch.
I know it's a reveal. It's all it is. It's just a reveal to like, hey, it's happening, and it's like people will watch it over and over and over again. It's just like, this is amazing. This is the best thing.
Did you hear that there's been a lip reading expert that has gone back and read their lips during the wham?
No.
Yes. They said it's all a bunch of nonsense, but they said that they actually went through and went to the trouble of reading their lips.
They want to make sure this is for real. Now, I'll tell you right now, you want fans to be pissed off. This not coming to fruition now?
Oh God.
Ooh,
if this
you lost some serious credit. I told the fans this now. Oh man,
I told Narwhal, I think before you hop back on, like if something happened in this movie, like if we get a Blade type announcement for this movie, you're gonna say I was there for the Geek riots of 2024.
That's exactly right.
It was worse than the night Annie Hall won Best Picture over Star Wars.
Dude, Ryan may have to move back to Canada. I mean, and Hugh, dude, he may just have to have like the skeleton actually put in to keep him alive.
If something happens where this movie doesn't come to pass again, it's going to be sad. Or if again, I was like, man, if they're trolling us, they have signed their death warrant. This will make WandaVision and Doctor Strange look like nothing.
Yep. So. Anyway, I can't wait for it. Can't wait.
Okay, guys. Well, it is 9:45. Do we dare dive into our thoughts on Andor, or do we just want to let that one lie for another week?
I say we hold that one for next week,
because I
need to get a couple more episodes under their belt.
Because I've only watched the first 3 that aired that one night. I have not had it in Ooh, man.
Here's what's so funny is people go, damn, it must be opposite day because I'm really digging this show.
Man, it was brutal. I fell asleep.
Man, they have let the adults back in the writers' room over at Disney.
Oh, okay, well, apparently they forgot what fun was for Star Wars. So anyway, but hey, I digress. It could get better. There could be some other episodes and stuff like that. So anyway, nothing's better than stealing children from a planet. So
I don't know that episode 4 is going to
change
your mind. But I'm just glad we're off freaking Tatooine. I mean, we've been on Tatooine for like 3 movies and 16 shows. I mean, my gosh. And even when Mando's not on Tatooine, it's kind of Tatooine. So, but
I'll tell you one thing though. If you're watching this, dude, I don't know if you've tuned in, especially this week. Go over and watch Star Trek Lower Decks. This week's episode is fantastic.
It was awesome.
Oh my god, it was so great.
All right, I gotta check it out,
dude. For those fans, is the Blues Man still on here? He is. I don't know if
I know Ron still on. Ronnie had to jump out. I think Blues Man is still here.
I'm just telling you right now. I got 3 little letters for you. Well, 2 letters and a number. It's DS9 is in this episode. So. Spoiler alert, and it's great. It's awesome.
Okay, all right.
And they've actually got 2 guest stars. Guest stars that are on there that are doing the voice. So it's awesome. Yes.
Well, we know it can't be Renee because he's passed away.
That's correct, and we know it's not Nog.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot we lost Nog. Yeah.
Yep.
So
all
right.
But I mean, a lot of little nuggets. Pay attention to what's being left in the background. Oh man, it's such a good episode. I was having so much fun with it. So
okay. Lower Decks is starting to grow on me. I mean, it actually grew on me by the end of its first season. It kind of settled into a pattern.
Oh man, when it was the Packlets, oh my god, my mind was blown. Mine was blown. It was like, you got me. You got me.
Yeah. So
anyway, all right.
All right, folks. Well, I want to thank everybody who's tuned in. We've had a huge crowd, a lot of great comments tonight. Don't forget, we have a new episode of Sci-Fi Friday dropping tomorrow. It's season finale night. And we're going to have a new episode of Nightcrawler dropping as well. Hopefully, we'll be back next week, internet bandwidth and technology permitting. For Fanboys 918 and for Mr. Narwhal and Reverend, I'm Geek signing off. Peace.